Your brakeman probably told you that Mount Washington has the world's worst weather. Remember hearing that? Well, you guys didn't see it in the world's worst weather today, for sure. This is probably one of the better days you'll experience here on Mount Washington. However, we do have the world's worst weather. If I took you back here in January and February, everything you're looking at out here is covered with about 6 to 8 feet of this glazed icy snow. And you'll see people from all over the world hiking up here. They're practicing for Mount Everest. They love to come and practice on our mountain in January and February because our weather up here is worse than Mount Everest. It can get to be 20, 30, 40, 50 below zero up here with the wind chill factor. Just 2 years ago, they set an all-time record low temperature up here. Minus 109 below zero. Minus 1090. So we do have the world's worst weather. We also have the world's most unpredictable weather. Now, if you've never experienced this, you probably will find this hard to believe. But there are days in July, August. It's 90 degrees at our base station. Sunny. We take the train up here, 45 minutes later. Middle of July, 2 inches of snow, it's snowing, 28 degrees, 50-mile-an-hour winds. Much colder than today, in the middle of July. So, yeah, this is a very wild mountain. Now, if you look out in front of me, you're looking at the Green Mountains in Vermont. They're a good 40, 50 miles away. And we got a little bit of haze, but if you look over at these mountains over here, see these 4 mountains at about 10 o'clock? Just to the left, way out there, those are the Adirondacks in New York. Can everybody see those? Just to the left, those 4 mountains, way, way out there, the Adirondacks. Yeah, very slightly, kind of way in the back. Adirondack Mountains in New York. So we can see Vermont, New York, New Hampshire. The rest is out there. Southwest. Right over the pond, Quebec, Canada. We have hundreds of miles of trail. Now, if you look down in the valley, you're going to see a very historic building. That's the Mount Washington Hotel. And if you go back in our history, the tourism was discovered around the mid to late 1800s. And the only people that could afford to come up here as tourists were the wealthiest people in our country. Families of the Carnegies, the Vanderbilts, the Rockefellers, many wealthy families. And they would come up by rail and they would check in for the whole summer. And we had so many wealthy people coming up here in the late 1800s. They built 33 of those grand hotels. We had 33 of those. Is anybody staying in the Mount Washington Hotel? We had 33 of those in the heyday up here. And they all went out of business with the exception of a couple. How many of you have never been inside of the Mount Washington Hotel? Who has never been there? Well, if you can spare 15 minutes or so, I would highly recommend taking a walk through the Mount Washington Hotel. It's free. You don't have to be a guest. It's the most visited place up here in our White Mountains. And it's right next door. To get there, just follow our base road to the very end. Take a left. Your next left is going to be the Mount Washington Hotel. And when you walk into Mount Washington Hotel, you're going to feel like you walk back 100 years in time. Big columns, gold leaf, murals on the rotunda ceiling, big wide staircases, chandeliers, stained glass in the grand banquet hall. It's like walking onto the movie set of the Titanic. Anybody remember the movie The Titanic? That's what it's like inside. Or The Shining.